Hello fight fans, I'm that boxing writer Jeremy Harridges, and thanks for watching this video. Few things. Don't forget to please subscribe in the bottom right hand corner. Help me keep this endeavor going and moving on smoothly. I appreciate your guys' time. Also, make sure to check out my work at fansided.com/boxing. And also, you can see more about me and my past works at thatboxingwriter.com. So let's get to it. The big news this morning, as everybody in the States was starting to wake up, Tyson Fury told The Athletic that he will not be fighting Deontay Wilder this December 19th as originally anticipated. Now, in the article, which is up now on The Athletic for free, Tyson Fury said, hey, they've kept changing the date on me. They keep telling me, hey, let's try to move it. Obviously, there's been a lot going on with it, and now he's saying they want to push it to 2021. Although just a day earlier, Shelly Finkel, I believe, told BoxingScene.com that that's not the case, that they still plan on fighting in December. So you've got two sides at odds. You've got Shelly Finkel on Deontay Wilder's behalf saying, hey, we're still good to fight in December. You've got Tyson Fury saying that's not the case. We're moving ahead without him. Which one's true? And it's hard to tell at this moment. It's something that's an ongoing story that I guess we'll have to hear more about. But again, obviously COVID-19 has made a huge difference, but no one's really heard Deontay Wilder in a really sustained interview ever since his loss to Tyson Fury in February. A few things about Deontay Wilder. There's been a lot going on there. There's been a lot of drama. Just recently, a week ago, right? You got the news from Shelly Finkel again, who's been acting as Deontay Wilder's spokesperson, even though he's the co-manager. Deontay Wilder's managed by JD's, Shelly Finkel, and Al Heyman. But Shelly Finkel does most of the talking to the public. And Shelly Finkel's voice has been the one that's been the most prominent. He said they are not moving ahead with Mark Breland as the co-trainer. Instead, current co-trainer JD's, along with former opponent, sparring partner, and friend Malik Scott, will be the new duo to oversee Deontay Wilder's training. Malik Scott is a bright boxing mind. People hear Malik Scott and they say, okay, well, you know, he was an average heavyweight, yada, yada, yada. Malik Scott was an above average heavyweight. He was a good heavyweight. And had he pushed it forward, who knows how far he could have taken it. He just wasn't a championship level heavyweight. But he finished off with a very solid career as a heavyweight. So I don't want to disparage his career at all. In the past, I've been very close to Deontay Wilder's team. I first went down to Tuscaloosa to see Deontay Wilder back in 2015 before he fought Berman Stavern. And now I'm trying to think of it. If it was actually December of 2014 before he fought Berman Stavern. And ever since then, I've tried at least once a year to go down before a big fight to see Deontay Wilder and his team. And I consider JD as a friend of mine. Ever since that loss, communication has been radio silent. I haven't heard anything. And I've put out feelers multiple times and I haven't heard anything back. So Deontay Wilder is really limiting access to him. He's being very quiet about everything, which doesn't help now that you have Tyson Fury saying that they're not going to fight. That just adds more confusion. At some point, he's going to have to come out and start talking and start being verbal. There's been rumors that he had a biceps injury. People are calling foul on that. Every time he throws his right hand in a destructive manner, he's going to hurt it. He's broken his hand countless times. He's torn his bicep multiple times. If the second report is true that he injured it. So yeah, I believe that there's an injury there, but I also think that he's going to have an injury every couple fights or so because that right hand is so powerful. You can't throw it and land it with the type of power that he throws it with and not injure it. The laws of nature win out here. But again, back to Malik Scott. I think Malik Scott is a very capable co-trainer and eventual head trainer, not to Deontay Wilder, but just in general. Having spent some time with Malik Scott down in Wilder's camp over the years, he's a very, very intelligent guy. He's likable. There's a lot there. A lot of people forget that there are a lot of boxers who weren't necessarily championship caliber boxers that went on to be great trainers. Look at Freddie Roach, for instance. Was a good boxer, but not a championship level boxer. Malik Scott, I think, has all the tools to make a good trainer. However, I don't think he would make a good trainer for Deontay Wilder, at least not right now. I think Deontay Wilder has issues that a specific trainer needs to be brought in to work with those issues, an expert of sorts. When I take a look at Deontay Wilder, what he needs to do differently, to me, it's about footwork and it's about training methodology. JD's is great. I'm not saying that Jay shouldn't be a part of it, but I think they need to bring in a new perspective to combo with what Deontay Wilder's familiar with. With Jay and with Malik, it's all familiar pieces that he knows, and I think that he has to add a skill set that he just doesn't have. If you look at his footwork, he walks, he crosses his feet, he doesn't bounce on his toes, he doesn't move around the ring particularly well. Hey, 6'7", that's a large frame to try to control. However, I think that's something that they need to work on, is that foot movement, how to escape, how to move away, how to avoid punches. He draws straight back. He kind of plods rather than bounces, rather than gliding. I think that's step one. Also with his training methodology, I think there's just simple certain things he has to do. Deontay Wilder does not use the speed bag at any capacity. Now, a lot of people say, well, the speed bag's useless. It's just a nice little workout, yada, yada, yada. There's a reason that most notable boxers use a speed bag, and it's not just for fun. Yes, there's the sense that, hey, there's a nice little cardio burn that's involved with it. It loosens you up. But fast twitch muscles, fluidity, right? That movement alone of hitting the speed bag is going to just work on the little things. It's going to work on repetition. It's going to work your muscles over to have more of a fast twitch type of movement. If you look at Deontay Wilder, he's not the most fluid with his combinations. He's very accurate with his knockout punches. If we look at all of his knockouts, yes, he nails people with it, but he needs time to set it up, and they don't usually come after throwing a fluid combo. And again, we come back to that word fluid. He's not fluid with his hands. He doesn't box particularly well. If we take a look at all of his fights, he's not very accurate until he lands that home run punch. At least if we look at his tougher fights, more of his bouts against Luis Ortiz and against Tyson Fury, that accuracy tends to plummet. But he can still hit the home run shot if you give him time. The third time, Fury didn't give him any time. He didn't have time to think, and that's what gave him problems. He needs time to process and to find that home run shot. It'd be nice to see him work with someone that's an expert on footwork, that's an expert on getting him to punch accurately and fluidly, to use combinations, to not have to rely on the home run punch, to be more of a boxer. Hey, they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Wilder's probably about 35 right now. I'm 36, and we're a little bit over a year apart from each other. But that's what I think he needs, and I just don't think Malik Scott can offer that to him right now. I think Malik Scott can see those issues, but I don't know if Malik Scott can teach them how to overcome those issues. To be honest, I don't know if anyone can, but I'd rather bring in someone that is an expert in those areas to work with him. But that's my 2 cents. So what's left now? Is Fury Wilder going to happen? I don't know. If we take a look at it right now in October, it's 2 months away and some change, right? And we're quickly closing in on it. I mean, it's almost exactly 2 months away. And if you don't have it signed on paper, where's the venue going to be? Yada, yada, yada. You need all that stuff set up. It doesn't come along quickly. So it tells me, are you really going to be able to pull everything together and get it signed by December 19th? Not likely. But at some point, Deontay Wilder's going to have to talk to somebody. Time will tell when he decides to open up and start talking to the press and talking to people once again. I think Wilder's team and Wilder are class act. They're good people. Deontay's always been very, very, very giving with his time. Maybe too giving with his time, and maybe that's why he's been secretive. I know before the Fury fight, he was stretched pretty thin. I barely, I got maybe 15 minutes with Wilder for 2 stories that I was writing at the time. And so I had to be very quick and precise. And while I was interviewing him, he was doing a photo shoot for the article I was interviewing him for, or for one of the two articles I was interviewing him for. So he was stretched really thin with time. So I wonder if they look back on that and say, hey, we tried to give people too much access to Deontay Wilder, so we're going to tighten down the hatches and we're going to be very limited about what we let go out. I don't know. So bottom line is question mark, right? It's inconclusive what's going to happen next. Your guess is as good as mine at this point. However, I'm going to keep reaching out, and hopefully whenever they decide to talk, Deontay will decide to give me some time and say a few words. We shall see. Until then, make sure that you guys subscribe. Click that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.